Production of the JR Eldridge Show is made possible with financial support from Turner & Turner, Attorneys at Law, Blake Bell of Edward Jones Investments, the accounting firm of Turner, Rogers, Manning & Plyler, PLLC, Welch Funeral Home, Roger Wingfield of State Farm Insurance, Southern Bancorp, Southwest Sporting Goods, Taylor King and Associates, Mary and Martha's Florist and Gifts, Price and Company, Doctors Rob and Gary Rucker, Eccles, Thompson and Kneebone, and Farm Bureau Insurance of Clark County. This is the JR Eldridge Show with the head coach of the Arkadelphia Badgers. Joining Coach Eldridge today is your host, Caleb Byrne.
Welcome back to another week of the JR Eldridge Show. We're in the playoffs now. And the Arkadelphia Badgers had a big win on senior night over Malvern last Friday, and now they're going ahead to play Pottsville in the playoffs. It's an exciting time to be around Badger football, Coach.
Really is. We're excited about the way we finished off the regular season with a big win over Malvern, continuing to keep the belt at Arkadelphia. Our players are excited about that. Our coaches are excited about that. And then, just looking forward to focusing on one game at a time, excited about the playoffs. Can't wait to get back out on the practice field.
And Coach, and on Friday night against Malvern, it was an all-around complete performance from the beginning to the end. All areas of the game played really well to get a Mercy Rule victory. Yeah,
I felt like we did a great job executing, especially on offense. Defensively, we felt like we didn't get off the field on third down as well as we could have. And then on special teams, we gave up two big returns that we've got to get corrected, which we will do this week in practice. Offensively, we've got to continue to focus on keeping our hands inside and making sure that we don't have any unnecessary penalties for holding calls. But those are things that we looked at, we talked about as a staff, we talked about as a football team, that we feel like are very, very correctable. We look forward to cleaning those things up. Overall, just felt really good about the way our team did play. Despite those mistakes that we made, we were able to overcome those mistakes and really just have a good night of football.
Yeah, it's always good to take a big dominating game like that, but still find ways to improve going into the next week.
It really is, and I think that's the biggest thing about for us to continue to focus on playing our best football in the playoffs, and each next week we've got to be able to find those things, and we've got to be able to not allow a win to disguise those things from us to where we can continue to get better.
All right, Coach, let's take a look at the highlights from the game. It was senior night, of course, so all the seniors recognized before the game. How nice was that to give all the seniors a little bit of recognition?
Oh, it's great. We've got a great senior class that's won a lot of football games, played a lot of football games. It's really exciting to see all their parents and supporters out there and be able to have that senior night victory.
First drive here, you got a nice run from Candace Turner to start off, and then a big run the jet sweep from Braden Thomas.
Yeah, I feel like our Coach Moreland, offensive staff, did a great job of really planning on distributing the ball in a great way. I mean, you've got Cannon running, then you had Buster running, then you had Kyron running it in for the touchdown. I mean, just really good distribution of the football.
All right, first kickoff of the game there went well. Good coverage, and then Malvern fumbles the football the first play. Arkadelphia takes advantage.
Yeah, it's a huge play. Defensively, we get that turnover, and then offensively, we're able to make Malvern pay for giving us the ball in their territory for us to be able to go up 2 scores very early. We'd love for Staten to be able to get in the box. We've got to get the ball up a little bit from Cannon right there to get in the end zone, but great job by Terrell Sumler coming in our fullback spot, getting in the end zone with our trap play.
Yeah, Sumler, a big lineman, I think this is his first time to run the ball this year and gets a touchdown.
Well, he's done it previously, but he does a great job when he's in there at fullback. He's got good forward body lean, hard to tackle, low center of gravity, very powerful.
All right, so Malvern's offense comes out here. This is now their first real drive of the game. Remember, they fumbled the ball the first drive, and they're moving the ball pretty well. They have a nice freshman quarterback here, number 3, only a freshman, but he played really well throughout the game.
Yeah, and Malvern did a great job game planning our defense. They did a couple things that they haven't shown up to this point that threw us off a little bit. We were able to make some corrections and get better throughout the game. We've got to continue to really focus on throwing our double uppercuts, making sure tackles, and just really getting off the field on third down a little bit better defensively.
There's a good stop in the backfield. Arkadelphia really had the majority of the plays on defense went pretty well, but you mentioned it earlier, the third downs, that's what really killed you.
Yeah, it really was. Over the past 2 games, we've been about 48%, on stopping our opponent on third down. We really need to get that down to the low 30s. Coach Kaiser's really been focusing on that in our game planning and in how we approach practice. So I feel like we have the opportunity to get better there.
Arkadelphia is still up 14-7 here at this point, still in the first quarter, I believe, but Cannon Turner had a really efficient night passing the football.
Yeah, he's 10 of 11 for, can't remember, around 155 yards passing. So really good being able to throw the football, run the football effectively. It really opens up the run when we're able to pass efficiently. Kyron he's done an excellent job of staying on his tracks from the backfield and just running extremely hard. Extremely proud of the way Kyron's been playing. I think he's one of the touchdown leaders in the state right now.
Yeah, Kyron's been playing really well all season long. Defense comes back out now, moving into the second quarter. And Arkadelphia's defense really comes up big at this point. They're not going to let Malvern score again for the rest of the first half.
Yeah, they do a great job. Our defense does a great job. Again, this number 11 was really tough to tackle, but we've got to do a better job throwing our double uppercuts and really grabbing cloth. You can see Jason Campbell doing it really well here, getting guys to the football. So good job right there, getting a stop defensively.
Punt goes out of bounds. Arkadelphia gets good field position to start off, and here's Kyron again on the run. All 3 of your big playmakers on offense, Kyron, Cannon, and Buster Thomas, had big nights.
They really did, and that makes it tough on a defense to be able to prepare for us. As a defensive coordinator, with all the formations that Coach Moreland puts us in, with all the different sets, the motions, the short motions, it's really tough to prepare for our offense, and then being able to distribute the ball adds another element that really makes it tough on a defense.
A big run from Kyron up the middle, and then Cannon gets to the corner and gets the touchdown.
Yeah, it's just very, very efficient drives throughout the game. I don't think we ever had to punt throughout the game. Just did a really good job offensively. I feel like our offensive line continues to improve and get better. Coach Matlock, his grading system, they've been grading out better and better each week. So really proud of those guys and want to continue to build on that.
How big are statistics as part of your analysis of each game? You mentioned quite a few statistics so far. How big is that?
Well, the biggest thing is do we have more points on the board than our opponent? But when you're searching for those details that could possibly really help you, in a football game or possibly hurt you. You know, we want to analyze those things so that we're able to evaluate our football team and evaluate where we can get better. So they play a big part in our game planning process, and we'll continue to do that to try to give us advantages in these games.
There's a good catch from Ja'Shawn Davis. Davis, he's only a sophomore, but he's made quite a few good catches on offense. He's played some defense as well. He's put in good work as a youngster.
He really has. Been really proud of the way Ja'Shawn's played. Has a touchdown later on in the game, and so that's really good. And really excited about him continuing to improve along with the rest of our offense so that we can be at our best each next week.
Talk about that touchdown.
Really good. I think we ran our play action off of our counter play. So really good job of the play action and then getting into the box there.
All right, so going into the second half now, Arkadelphia took 35-7 lead in the halftime, I believe. But first play of the second half here, Malvern's going to break the kickoff return for a touchdown. Yeah,
this is really disappointing for our Headhunters unit. You know, and just we've got to be better fitting where we're supposed to fit. And you saw a couple people kind of get out of their leverage positions, and it gave Malvern the opportunity to make a play. We've got to be better about finishing in our correct lane and being able to make a play.
Here's Buster Thomas, though, responding with a touchdown. Arkadelphia's offense responds really quickly, gets 7 points on the board, extend the lead back up to 28. Missed field goal here, though, from Savage.
Yeah, we've got to be better on extra points. Savage was really good the previous week. We've just got to be more consistent and not miss those. We feel like they should be automatic, and they were the previous week. We've got to continue to get better there.
All right, Malvern's offense comes back out on the field. Malvern trying to avoid going into the good sportsmanship rule at this point. If Arkadelphia were to score another touchdown, it'll go into play. So Malvern really fighting to get a score, and Arkadelphia really fighting to keep them out of the end zone.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest differences that you see about this Malvern team is that you know, they last year before. You know, they really kind of laid it down after they got down. You know, Coach Plumley and his staff have done a good job of changing their mentality over there. But I felt like our players really did a great job responding, especially offensively after that special teams mishap. We're able to score quickly on the first drive, and then we're able to score quickly on this second drive to put it into the mercy rule. Which gave us an opportunity to get more players into the football game.
Yeah, that was a great quarterback draw play to put it in the mercy rule. Cannon Turner faking the pass and then running just straight through the middle of the Malvern defense.
Yeah, when he gets in the open field, it's really tough to catch him. Did a great job on that play, and you can see right here our players defensively continuing to get to the football. You know, and trying to be 9-5-9, like we talk about all the time. We're starting to get better at tackling throughout the game, so we've got to continue to do that. Right here, we give up one through the middle. Again, this guy's a tough runner. Number 11 here, he's got a low center of gravity, kind of a bowling ball type runner. We just got to do a better job of holding him up and then getting other people to the ball. As you can see right here on this drive, we do not do a great job of tackling him. Very disappointed in that, but hopefully we will improve throughout this week of practice.
There, Malvern's able to recover an onside kick. Were you expecting the onside kick there?
We were not expecting the onside kick. Either way, that's a special teams mishap by us. We've got to do a better job of seeing the ball off of his foot and making a play.
The first team defense comes back out on the field after that onside kick recovery. Were they fired up to get on the field at this point?
Oh yeah, they wanted to be out there. That's what I love about these football players. You know, they just continue to put on more steam. And that's something that we talk about all the time. And that's something that our players have bought into. I feel like, that's a mentality that that's not natural. But you want to relax when there's a mercy rule, or relax. These players showed no signs of doing that.
Now, Trey Bledsoe gets the interception in the end zone, keeps Malvern off the scoreboard. And then your second-team offense here really are exciting to watch. That big run called back for a penalty, but Braylon Bailey at running back, he had 3 rushes for 51 yards.
Yeah, I love coaching Braylon Bailey. He's just a great young man to be around. Plays extremely hard, runs extremely hard, and can't wait to continue to try to get him the ball and make some plays.
And then Alex Loy here, able to throw a pass for a touchdown.
Yeah, this was an RPO that we run on a normal basis, and do a great job, Loy, making that throw. Great job, concentration by Jay Sean, and then great run after catch right there.
Yeah, and then the third special teams mishap of the game here at the very end. Able to break it long. Malcolm Turner tracks back and pushes him out of bounds to keep another score from going to the board.
Yeah, really excited about the way Malcolm, we call that the ambush angle. He took a great angle to get the guy out before he gets in the end zone. Malcolm's got a lot of speed and did a great job on his angle to keep him from getting in the end zone. Again, those are some of the things that we talked about on Monday, to where these are things that we've got to improve on. We've got to make sure that we eliminate those game-changing mistakes. Thankfully, we were able to pick it up offensively and defensively to recover from those mishaps.
Yeah, talk a little bit about those special teams mishaps, how you're going to improve those, and how those happen, because Arkadelphia really seems to focus a lot more on special teams than other teams do. Usually plays nearly perfectly on special teams, so that was really uncharacteristic.
Yeah, well, the first thing is after the first big kickoff return, from a coaching standpoint, we shouldn't have kicked the ball back to him. Now, he should have never broken out on the first one. Good football player, did a great job of returning that ball, but we've got to do a better job of making sure that we're finishing those plays, fitting in the correct spots, and then just making a tackle. I mean, you saw we missed a tackle on the second return there. So from a coaching standpoint, if somebody does have a big return on us, we've got to not kick it to them again. From a player standpoint, we've got to be better covering down and being in correct position and then finishing a play. So on our kickoff coverage there, and then on our kickoff return, we've got to do a better job of fielding the ball when it's an onside kick, and not being caught off guard. They had to re-kick that football. Well, we've got to be on guard and be able to see that ball kicked off his foot, know that it's an onside kick, and then go recover the ball. So those are things that we're going to practice, really focus on to make sure they don't happen again in practice, players and coaches combined.
All right, Coach. Big win for the Badgers, 56-21, the final score. Let's take a look at the final conference standings. It was the last game of the conference. Arkadelphia finishes in a 3-way tie for first place in the conference, but due to tiebreakers, they'll have the 3 seed in the playoffs. So that's going to put Arkadelphia up against Pottsville in the playoffs this week. It's a home game for the Badgers. So talk a little bit about this. How big is it to have a home playoff game again? And then this team going back into the playoffs. They've already played 10 playoff games, the seniors have, and so how big is this?
I think it's huge. I love being able to host a playoff game, being in front of our home crowd. Regardless, I feel like Arkadelphia, our community really supports us, and they're going to travel with us either way. But it, one of the things that it does for our players and our coaches is, you're not as road weary if you're able to have a couple playoff games at home. That helps a ton. So we look forward to being at home in front of our home crowd. And I think our players, they right now We had a great practice on Monday. Look forward to another great practice this week on Tuesday. I think our players, really want to be out there, and that's gonna play a big part in this in the playoffs in general. Is there are a lot of good teams that end up getting put out in the playoffs because they're distracted by other things, because football may or may not be as important, but I feel like our players still want to be out there in practice. I mean, because really that's where we're going to win a football game, and if we can keep that energy, effort, and focus in practice to where we want to be out there, that helps a ton for each week.
Yeah, and how do you manage to keep that kind of focus as you move deeper into the playoffs? Because if you get back down to the state championship game again, that's a 15-game season. On top of that, you have summer workouts, preseason workouts. You've been practicing since June all the way until December. That's a really long season of football. So how do you keep these guys interested?
Well, I think the first thing is one game at a time. It's impossible for us to win a state championship week one of the playoffs. But week one of the playoffs, we can make another step toward that goal, that big picture goal. So one of the biggest things is not being able to, or narrowing our focus to that one game, is going to help. I think the other thing is, keeping our players, really communicating with them about our playoff mindset. Being able to take each game one game at a time, being able to make sure that each individual is really focused on being able to play his best football, and then if we can collectively do that, we're all going to play our best football. I think one of the things that we've talked about also is this is when it starts getting fun. It's a time where people are going to be eliminated from the playoffs. We've got to focus on that one game at a time and really trying to bond with each other throughout this week to try to get to where we can play our best football each new week. And really in our conference, every game has been a playoff game for that seeding, for that for that race. I feel like our conference is heavy with really good football teams. Every week really has been a playoff game for us. And we're looking forward to just playing another football game.
And it's been a season full of big games. You had those non-conference games starting out the season. You played Benton. Turns out to be one of the best teams in 6A. You play Wynn, one of the best teams in 5A. And then the conference schedule. So the whole season really has been leading up to this point in the playoffs.
It really has, and that says something about our football team. I think it says something about our coaches. It says something about our football team being able to go through a really tough non-conference schedule, a really tough conference schedule, and then to see our players, enjoy still being out at practice. I think that's huge. And I feel like our players, they love being around each other, love being around our coaches, and we just got to continue to express that to one another, communicate about that, and be able to go out there and practice our best football so we play our best football.
All right, so opponent coming to town this Friday night is Pottsville. You played Pottsville before in the playoffs, but I don't think anyone on the team right now was playing in that game. So let's talk a little bit about how Pottsville is.
Yeah, we have some guys that were ball boys during that game, so it's fun for them to be able to see kind of the progression, and that's what I love about our football team. We've got so many guys that have grown up in our program, and we go to Pottsville in 2014. We've got guys that are playing now that were on the sideline as ball boys. I think it was 15 degrees out there at kickoff at Pottsville. We were able to gain a win there. So I think that makes a difference. I think that makes a difference with our guys being able to experience that as they grow up. So we just look forward to being at home. Pottsville, they're a dead T football team. They're a very tough football team. They've got a big fullback that's done a lot of damage in their conference. They've got a couple guys that are really athletic on their offense. Defensively, and they run the dead T, very similar to Bauxite and similar to Haskell Harmony Grove. You know, and then defensively, they run some similar things to what Bauxite did, what Haskell Harmony Grove did on defense. So we just got to continue to focus on really doing our job every single day as we lead into this game, and continue to compete at a high level every single week.
Yeah, and you've gone up against that kind of dead T team earlier in the season. Whenever you played, I think this is your 5th game against this kind of offense. So how does that experience going to play into this week?
I think it's going to be really good. You know, some of the things that we're talking about doing defensively, especially, you know, it's kind of a review. We're going to make specific changes to our game plans, but some of it will be very similar. So it's helpful that some of the stuff that we're doing is going to be a review from past weeks for our defense to really digest the game plan throughout the week so that we can be at full speed, playing as fast as we can on Friday night.
Yeah, Coach. And then any last thoughts about the playoffs coming in here?
We're just really excited. I mean, you know, I think our players are excited, our coaches are excited, I think our community's excited. So we just look forward to hopefully having a fun Friday night at Arkadelphia High School. Can't wait to get out there again.
All right, Coach. Everyone is excited about this game. Arkadelphia is hosting Pottsville Friday night, 7 p.m. kickoff, and it's win or go home. The Badgers can win, advance to the next round of the playoffs, but if they lose, the season's over. That's just what makes the playoffs so exciting. We hope you'll come out to the game Friday night at 7 p.m. If you can't be there, you can tune in on the live stream at ArkadelphiaBadgerTV.com, and then join us back here next week to break down the game and hopefully talk about the next week of the playoffs. We'll see you then.
Sponsors of the JR Eldridge Show include Southwest Sporting Goods, Taylor King and Associates, Mary and Martha's Florist and Gifts, Price and Company, Doctors Rob and Gary Rucker, Eccles, Thompson and Kneebone, Farm Bureau Insurance of Clark County, Turner & Turner, Attorneys at Law, Blake Bell of Edward Jones Investments, the accounting firm of Turner, Rogers, Manning & Plyler, Welch Funeral Home, Roger Wingfield of State Farm Insurance, and Southern Bancorp. The JR Eldridge Show is produced each week by the Rogers Department of Communication at Ouachita Baptist University.